Feeling overwhelmed by the challenges of being a single parent? You are not alone. Welcome to Single Parent Reset, the podcast that helps you navigate the ups and downs of single parenthood and find the balance that you deserve. Whether you're a single parent, co-parent or solo parent, this is the show for you. I'm Orla and I'm a life coach for single parents and a single parent myself. I know how hard it can be, but I believe every single parent has the strength to create a life that they are proud of. For more information about me and the work that I do, please visit my website solascoaching.com. That is SOLAS coaching.com. In each episode of this podcast, we'll be shining a light on the unique struggles single parents face and cover the aspects of being a single parent that are often overlooked and left unspoken. I'll be sharing actionable steps to help you overcome these challenges and find more calm and fulfillment in your life. Single Parent Reset is your weekly opportunity to gain a fresh perspective, take back control, and feel more in charge of your journey. Welcome to this week's episode. As always, I'm going to ask my favour, but if you're enjoying this podcast, please, can you go on to wherever you're listening to it and rate it, review it, follow it, do all the things, because it really helps the podcast get to other people and so other people can enjoy it as well, which is exactly what we all want, surely. Moving on to today's episode. Are you finding that through the process of becoming a single parent, you have completely lost yourself and you don't even know where did the old you go? This is such a common feeling amongst many single parents, a loss of identity through the process of transition into single parenthood. Today's episode is going to walk you through just how you can learn to reconnect with you again, uncover the old you and discover the new you so that you can move forward feeling more confident and connected with yourself again, rather than feeling a shell of the person you used to be. It is widely acknowledged that becoming a parent is a huge life-changing and altering event, and there is lots of material written about the path into parenthood and how it can change your sense of self and how to transition into the next stage of your life as a parent. But what about another much less spoken about life event that happens to 1 in 4 families, and that is becoming a single parent. Becoming a single parent, no matter what you read to it, will have a significant impact on your life, as when you become a single parent, it can touch almost every aspect of it. Your day-to-day routine will now look much different, as you find that you may no longer have that extra pair of hands around the house, and you're having to do everything, and I mean everything yourself. Your financial situation can change dramatically, and with that, it can curtail some of your favourite activities or sources of stress relief. You could even be faced with moving out of your family home, sometimes to a brand new area. And it can be a challenging time while you unpick your family life from a nuclear family setup and build it back up to whatever that now looks like for you. And during this time, you may find that some of your relationships with friends and family might shift, some strengthening and some not being able to withstand the toll of the stress that it's having on you. You might be feeling that you don't really fit in anywhere now, as all your friends continue on with their married lives and you don't feel like you have anyone to speak to about what really is going on and the depths of some of the challenges you are facing. Maybe you're grieving, not just a relationship, but what it meant to be seen and supported by someone. And that's real and that really matters. And on top of all of that, you could be carrying a whole new host of emotions that can have a detrimental effect on your self-worth and identity. Feelings such as guilt, shame, grief, anger, resentment, jealousy. As I'm sure you're well aware, the list goes on and on. So with this seismic shift to your life, it's no wonder that your sense of self and who you are can get lost along the way. Whilst you take the back seat and focus on everyone else and keeping everything together, parts of you can feel like they get lost forever. You could find yourself wistfully looking back at happier times in the past and wondering just where, and I mean where on earth has that person gone? Does this sound in any way familiar to you? As always, I want to remind you that you are not the only one to feel this way. It is extremely common. And today, I'm going to give you the opportunity to start reconnecting with yourself and rediscover all that brings you joy. Because I promise you, that person has not gone anywhere. They have in fact grown in so many ways, and I'm going to help you see that today. Once you begin re-identifying with the new you can start to feel more in control and start taking back your life again. The reason the idea for this podcast came to me was because recently, when I was running a group session all about taking time for you and doing something you enjoy, I threw a question out to the group, and the question was, what do you enjoy doing? And I was met with blank stares. And this wasn't just shyness or people not wanting to speak into the group. This was I literally have nothing to say here. So then I said, it doesn't need to be anything big or small, just something you like doing. And again, nothing. Until one of the participants of the group said, I honestly have no idea what I enjoy anymore. To which everyone suddenly sat up and started nodding, leaning in towards their screens. As everyone began to chime in, the conversation moved on to how, since becoming a single parent, they feel like there is their old self, which is no longer them, and they can't grapple with or don't even know where to start with trying to figure out this new version of them and what they would even enjoy doing. I realised that the shift into single parenthood can not only have an impact on the practical side of things, and of course dealing with some of the unwanted emotions, but at the very core of it, it can impact our own identities. So we spent the rest of the session not looking at what activities they could do for them, but in fact exploring just who were they now and how can they reconnect with themselves again. And that's what we will do today. Give you the time and space to explore just who you are now. And once you've acquainted yourself with you again, you can start to learn exactly what is important to you now and what are the things that light you up. Now you might be wondering, why is this episode even important? Let me tell you, this episode is important because you matter too. You are not just a parent, you are a full human being with your own wants, needs and joys. And I know it might feel impossible right now to even think about reconnecting with yourself, but that's exactly why we're having this conversation. It's not about making big changes or ticking off self-care checklists. It's about gently coming back to yourself in small, real ways. Because the more you're connected to you, the more grounded, steady and whole everything else can start to feel. You only get one life and you deserve to feel like you're actually living it, not just getting through it. So first of all, let's take some time to look at who you are now compared to who you used to be before you became a single parent. Looking back, what was important to you? It could have been your relationship, the wellness of your children, earning a lot of money and living a certain lifestyle. Looking at you now, what is important to you? Now, you may find that some things are still just as important, like the wellness of your children, but perhaps earning a lot of money and living a certain lifestyle is no longer important to you. But what is important to you is having time to connect with friends and family. Everyone's answers are going to be completely different. There's no right or wrong answers here. But the purpose of the exercise is to help you identify what remains the same for you and what parts have shifted without you realising. So again, it's asking yourself, what was important to you before you became a single parent? And then what is important to you now? You may find that there are parts of your life now, such as goals you're striving towards, like an expensive holiday, that just no longer align with what is important to you now. Or there are certain routines and habits you've carried over from before you were a single parent. Hopefully for you, you've now shone a light on maybe some aspects of your life that could be tweaked to better reflect where you are now. And if you're finding it hard to let go of some of those old parts that do not serve your new life anymore, that is okay too. Be kind to yourself. Sometimes what may seem to people on the outside like one small change to a habit or routine you have can mean so much more to you because it's a symbol of all you're letting go of. So give it the time and space it is needed, and do not pressure yourself until you are ready. Slowly start to move towards acceptance and make the shifts when you are ready. There is no timeline here. Go at your pace, and if something just feels too hard right now, that is okay. Having the awareness is the first step. And sometimes that alone can take some time to sit. Now I want you to look at how are you spending your time. Specifically, how are you spending time where you're not focusing on running the household or caring for your kids? Are you engaging in activities that light you up, such as maybe it could be reading, exercise, seeing friends? Or are you engaging in activities to either numb the empty feeling or stave off any loneliness that you may have? This could be scrolling on your phone, mindlessly watching TV. Now, there is no judgment here as to what you are currently doing. It is more just to recognise how your time is being spent. I know for me, when I first separated from my son's dad, there was many an evening that I wasted away scrolling on my phone, mindlessly watching TV, as I've already mentioned, and I was not using my time for me because I really didn't even know how to start spending those evenings when my son was in bed. And if this sounds like you and your time is not being spent on things that light you up, it could be that you no longer know what even lights you up. So let's explore that for a bit. Learning what brings you enjoyment again can be a tricky one because you may find some of the activities are just not feasible for you anymore now that you're a single parent for a whole host of reasons, from finances to childcare. Again, the list can keep on going there. But what I want you to think about is, what did you enjoy before you became a single parent or even a parent? Because there's no doubt about it, some things definitely fell by the wayside when you became a parent as well. Ask yourself, what exactly did I enjoy about the activity? So what did that activity bring you that made you enjoy it so much? And then ask yourself, is there any way I can bring that element into my life in another way? So let's have an example here. For example, if you were, let's say, an avid hiker, and when you ask yourself what you enjoyed about the hiking, it wasn't in fact the long, grueling walks up the mountains. It was your ex who enjoyed that part. What you enjoyed was meeting new people on each hike and connecting with others. So, how could you bring some of that into your life now? You can find a local group on any topic that piques your interest that meets regularly and start going to that to find the connection you need, or even find a group that's online. The key is understanding what did that original activity really bring for you and finding ways to bring that into your life that works for you now as a single parent. Another great way to find out what you enjoy again is to look back, way back to your childhood. What did you enjoy then? Can you bring some of that into your life again? And this does not need to be a solo venture. If you are unsure, rope in your friends, do things with your kids. The point is for it to be light and fun. If you try something and it doesn't work, that's absolutely fine. You can tick that one off your list and try the next one on the list. Approach this with a sense of curiosity and lightness, rather a sense of dread and fear, or just another thing to get done. And if you're thinking, all sounds nice, but when am I supposed to do this? I totally get it. Even just 5 quiet minutes after the kids go to bed counts. This isn't about overhauling your whole life. It's about planting small seeds to bring you back to you. Now, once you've identified what in fact you enjoy again, you may be faced with a hurdle and fail at this very first hurdle. And this hurdle is your inner critic. Your inner critic could go on overdrive here as you conjure up fun things for you to do, saying you don't have the time, you don't deserve it, you've never done this before, you're going to look ridiculous. You get the idea. It will fire at anything it knows that will stop you in your tracks. When this happens, remind yourself that you do deserve this time to rediscover yourself and to do things for you. It is not selfish, and you do not need to feel guilty. And by doing this and rediscovering you, everyone, I promise you, will benefit. You could even come up with an affirmation so that each time this inner critic rears its head, which trust me, it will, you can say the affirmation to yourself to keep you on track. Something like, I am worthy of finding the things I enjoy. Repeating that when any negative thoughts come through that try and stop you. And also, a point I want to highlight whilst we're on the topic of inner critic and negative self-talk is a big part of being a single parent can be taking on the label of single parent itself and the impact that can have on our own view of ourselves and our identity. If this is a challenge for you or it brings up negative emotions, I highly recommend you listen to a recent episode I did all about this. It's called Challenging the Single Parent Stigma and Reclaiming Your Confidence. It will help you understand the single parent stigma, what it is, what it means for you, and how to overcome it. Finally, my last point on reconnecting with you is looking at all that you have gained, not lost, since becoming a single parent. Because trust me, whilst you may not feel like it right now, I can guarantee you that there are so many good parts of you that you've grown and developed along the way. To help you discover what these parts are and to highlight them to you, I've got some questions I'm going to ask now. And I really want you to think, and if you've got the time, get a pen and paper, pause this after each question and answer the question in a journal. So here we go. So first question, when you pause and reflect, what strengths have you developed that you didn't even know you had before? You may find that you now are a really good cook because maybe it was your ex-partner who did all the cooking because logistically that made the most sense and now you're the one doing the cooking. Or it could go deeper than that as well. You could find that before you would have been too shy and nervous to go to certain school events by yourself, but now you walk in with pride and that confidence has come out in you. Next question is, what's one thing about yourself today that you're proud of that may not have existed before your single parent journey began? I'm going to answer this one for me. For me, I am so proud of the mum that I've become and the patience I have for my son when I'm parenting him alone. Another question, what new priorities, boundaries or values have you discovered since becoming a single parent? This may have come up for you when you were looking at what was important to you then versus what is important now. You might find that your values have completely changed, or you may find what you prioritise is completely different and how that's a more aligned to the person you want to be. And last question, always a favourite one for me. If your friend were in your shoes, what positive changes would they notice in you that maybe you don't see yet? And if you really can't think of anything, ask a friend, ask them. Let them tell you what are the things that they've noticed that are positive changes in your life since you've become a single parent. And you do not need to be humble here. This is only for you. So please give yourself a big head, blow your own trumpet. You absolutely deserve to recognise all the positive parts of you that have come through becoming a single parent. And if this week all you manage is to getting through the day and being kind to yourself in the process, that is, I'm telling you, more than enough. That's so reconnecting. Sometimes progress doesn't look like these big shifts that we're waiting for and expecting. It's simply showing up as you are. There's no doubt about it. Becoming a single parent can feel like a whirlwind where everything gets thrown up in the air, and it can feel like years afterwards we're still picking up the pieces, and as each year goes by it feels like we're getting further and further away from ourselves. My hope is today's episode has given you a roadmap back to you, from looking at the differences between what's important to you now compared to before you were a single parent, what adjustments you might need to make based on that, exploring what do you even enjoy now and equipping you with the tools to overcome any negative self-talk, and finally, the most important part, celebrating all that you have gained since becoming a single parent. It may not seem at the time, but each day you are putting in the foundations for a stronger version of you that isn't a patch on the old you. What's one small thing you are going to do this week to reconnect with you and stop progressing the loss of your old self and become acquainted with the new and improved you? Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Single Parent Reset. You have taken 15 minutes out of your day to do something for you, and that alone is a step in the right direction towards living a life you deserve. In next week's episode, we're going to be talking about letting go the feeling that you failed as a single parent. And let me tell you now, spoiler alert, you have not failed. Come along to next week's episode and I'll talk you through exactly why this is. If you're interested in working with me one-to-one, please go to my website, solacecoaching.com, for further details. And don't forget to follow my Instagram page @solacecoaching for more insightful content on living a life to be proud of as a single parent. As always, if you find this episode useful, please share with your friends and family. Remember, many single parents may seem like they have it all together, but this could be exactly what they need to help them move forward today.